Hi, I'm Ricardo Simos. And before my treatment with Rebecca, I was pretty sick with CTE and all of its associated symptoms. The biggest one being rage, like I was just angry all the time. Before I went to see Rebecca, I woke up with a migraine and then it got bad. And the ringing in my ears that I felt all day, every day, sometimes made it impossible to hear the television or even hear my conversations. There's no treatment, there's no cure, there is nothing that can address any of the behaviors I had. I had been on every single mood altering medication that the doctors can prescribe. I even tried some of the non pharmaceutical natural ways to treat some of these symptoms. And I'm telling you, nothing was working. Nothing was working. And like Robin Williams, I was getting to the point where the life and the person and the chaos that I was creating because of my symptoms was getting untenable for my spirit and who I was as a person. And until meeting with Dr. Riley, I don't even, it's not like I'm fighting anger and counting to 10. It's like I feel like I've always been like the normal guy. When the shit hits the fan, I take a deep breath and I don't have to calm myself. I am calm. My headaches were just, they were constant. They were, the normal was, oh my God, my head doesn't hurt bad enough that the light hurts my eyes. So I need sunglasses inside. That was my life every day, symptomatically with just my head. The pain, like I noticed on the ride home that I didn't have a headache and the car wasn't making me nauseous. And then I was having this normal conversation with my brother and he said something and I responded and he's like, oh my God, you can hear again. So a lot of the feedback that I'm getting from people are about how the symptoms that I don't have anymore, how they feel like I'm back. Everyone says I look physically different from the day I drove down to Rebecca. My color's back. I've actually put on a little bit of weight, which is kind of a good thing. My beard is going gray, and I know that sounds ridiculously crazy, but my beard went from white Gondorf to like this salt pepper nonsense you see now. But she can tell you, I had a white beard, and I don't color because that's just beyond vanity. This, I don't know what this means, but I can also tell you that I see colors now, and that shit's blowing my mind because my painting's going through the roof. And the fact that I picked out a red pen the other day intentively with, it was a red pen and it was in jumbles. It wasn't even like, so I was able to paint in colors, with colors, I should say, because my children, my girlfriend, whoever it is around would organize these colors into their own sections. Like all the greens were with the greens, the pinks were in the middle, and the reds were all in one pile, and I would paint by shade as opposed to color. And I found this red pen in a bundle of pens, colored pens, and I picked up the red one, and I was intentively picking up the red one, and people commented that, how'd you do that? So these are things that I don't recognize as brand new until somebody who's known me forever points out that, how do you see color now? I've had 27 concussions in my life that they documented as significant. 3 of them happened within a 5-year period. No, 5 and a 3-year period when I was in the Navy at 17, 18, and 19. And I've been fucked up with that stuff my whole life. The symptoms were, when you have an immediate head injury, you have some forgetfulness, some emotional instability, emotional lability. you have, weight loss or weight gain, you have all these crazy symptoms that happen. And each and every successive concussion I had, those symptoms happened and they stayed longer. And in 2018, I was painting at this beach and I was talking about the painting and a group of people, and out of nowhere, a tree fell on my head. I know that sounds strange. It was more like a ginormous tree branch that if it was growing out of the ground, you would say that's a tree and not a sapling. But it was a tree and it fell on my head. It only hit me, broke my skull, and I haven't worked a day as a nurse since because I couldn't remember what I had for breakfast or to take my own medication. And since I treated with Dr. Wiley, nobody reminds me to take my meds. When the question is, you take your meds today, it's like, it's not like, oh, I forgot, let me do it now. It's, yeah, I did it this morning with breakfast, which is another thing. Like, I'm making my own breakfast. I'm remembering to eat. I have my own apartment now that is just the fact that I can remember where my keys are or where my apartment is beyond. Last year I got lost on a road that I grew up on. It's not that I got lost, and I didn't recognize anything in a road that I grew up on. I don't know. It's almost like I'm in high definition again instead of the, antenna. Like, the world just seems more real. And emotionally, I haven't lost my temper. And since the treatment with Rebecca, I've been in some really high stress situations that I was able to be the calm person that in my entire life, in my career, when the shit hit the fan, they wanted Rick around. They, when I was in the hospital and there was a code, people looked to Rick for the answers because I kept my shit cool in these events. And that wasn't me for the last year of my working career, and certainly not before Rebecca. I mean, not being able to fill out a form on the computer would get me to break my computer. And now I'm having conflicts with people where I'm still having a calm, measured conversation. And literally, that was beyond my capability. That's the things that are getting bigger and stronger every day. I mean, that's the scary part. It's like I walked out of there on that Sunday and I felt like something happened. And since that treatment, it's like I'm realizing how, like, I remembered how to read music the other day. That's a huge thing. So I started the treatment with one of my major intentions was to find a way out of the kind of love I was having. And I don't mean just romantic love. I mean, like, my internal dialogue, the amount of love that was in my life in general, and the love I felt and was feeling. As far as relationships go, I felt like I was not in a relationship. I certainly wasn't in a relationship, but what I was is in a place where it was totally self-destructive and absolutely the opposite of self-love. And I felt stuck there. I couldn't see any way out of this. And since the treatment, the conversation with this person has changed in the sense that the boundaries that I've created has literally eliminated them from my life without me saying or having to do anything other than respect myself. In a million years, I couldn't have imagined, and I don't think this is like the euphoria of a new relationship, because I've had a lot of new relationships, not a lot. Someone has entered my life. This feels different in the sense that there's no fear involved. Like, and my approach to this has been unafraid in the sense that she sees me. She sees me. I don't pretend. I don't hide. I don't put on this mask of who I think she wants me to be, or, I'm not even so much concerned of, I hope she likes me. It doesn't matter. I like me and she seems to really like me. And that kind of emotional authenticity is entirely new. But this has a level of emotional authenticity and vulnerability that I've never experienced, that I was incapable of getting to. You know, there was just too much fear and old baggage and just stuff that would get in the way, like old records of how I was not worthy or good enough or even capable. You know, it's almost like before I met Dr. Wiley, I felt, and I would describe, and I think in our first letter, I described feeling like I had a heart amputation. Like I felt phantom pains from this heart, not like chest pain, but like a spiritual emptiness. And I don't know what happened because we didn't specifically talk about love and relationships during this weekend, but within that healing of whatever happened inside of me, and I honestly can't explain other than it was fundamental. And the people that know me, love me, and and are around me, and especially the people that haven't seen me in months, they are beyond shocked. One of my well, he's an acquaintance, but he's a very close acquaintance. I hadn't seen him in at least 4 or 5 months. And he saw me again. He's like, "Oh my God, you're like the guy I met in 2012." So these are things that I'm not trying to be different. I'm not acting different because honestly, I'm just acting me. And everyone, that's what I feel like. I feel like myself again. And the people, it is such a profound event that people have asked me to, like, what happened? What did you do? We thought you were going to be dead by now, the way you looked last summer. I mean, it's nothing short of remarkable. That's all I can say. One of the things that I like when I talk about this event this weekend, I describe it, you know, I'm a little wordy. They call me actually a wordy fucker. It's one of my favorite nicknames, but um so I describe it as on Friday night, I felt like I was wrestling with my demons in a snowstorm, tearing my soul in half. That's what Friday night felt like for me. On Saturday, it's like I was looking at my demons and I don't necessarily just mean demons, that like all the shit that makes up your baggage, whoever your baggage is. On Saturday morning and afternoon, I spent a lot of time like viewing them through the window kind of thing. And then Saturday night, there was this, like if Friday night was a storm, Saturday night was a beautiful sunrise or sunset kind of thing. And Dr. Wiley did this thing that she put her hands on my head, and literally my head got so hot and itchy, and it itched for at least 4 days. Not just not like my skin was itchy, like my skull was itchy, like the inside of my skull was itchy, like when a scab is itchy. That's what I felt. By the time I left Sunday, the itchiness was there, the heat was there, more of a warmth, but what wasn't there was pain and the ringing. And that, if you don't know what I'm saying, if you don't carry it, you don't know what it means not to have it. That's all I can say. But if someone has this and it's sudden absence, it's like the sound of silence. My intuitiveness is literally off the charts, and but also just people recognizing this. It's like it's just becoming commonplace that I know things I shouldn't. I say things that people go, "How did you know that?" And you know, I have a parking spot at the front of my building. It doesn't matter what time I come in. I park in the same spot every single day. every single day. It doesn't matter what time I come home. I literally park in the spot I want every day. I know that sounds crazy, but it's almost like the universe wants me to have that spot. Eh, And I know that's small and it could be coincidental. And a lot of those coincidences they add up. So I believe that this is the way I'm supposed to live. I don't know what she did that weekend. I don't know what she did, but whatever was blocking me from talking to God, and I don't mean in a schizophrenic kind of way, I mean an intuitive feeling kind of way, that when I'm on the right path or I'm on the wrong path, I have a physical sensation that when I pay attention to, it tells me. And it also reminded me that I've had this kind of ability most of my life, and most people do. "Oh, I'm uncomfortable," but you ignore that shit and it drives you crazy. And I don't know if she just gave me the belief to not be afraid to follow that, but whatever happened there, I want to do it again, and it's miraculous. When you were doing the hand movements and how familiar they felt, which also was pretty weird because they were pretty complicated movements that if you don't know what you're looking at, just look random, but they were specific Qigong movements, which I found strange that you didn't know Qigong. And I mentioned that you're doing Qigong. And you talked about having this portal that you felt. And I can tell you that when we talked about that portal opening, first thing that's happened and happens all the time now is I see geometric patterns on my eyelids when I close. Okay. And not, I don't mean like every time I close my eyes, but in that moment, you told me I saw geometric patterns in my closed eyes. And I have read and believe that those geometrics are the downloads from the universe to take you to your higher sense, to your highest self, to your highest vibration. And I can tell you that each time that the pattern changes, something changes within me. And I don't know if those were all the patterns that got dumped into me that day, because it literally, that's what it felt like. When you said something opened, I felt like what a cup would feel like when you pour something in. Like there was this flood of warmth. I got goosebumps, and there was like just tingling. And the hardest part of all this to explain is how overwhelming and not overwhelming at the same time these changes were. And I don't know if that's because of the setting or the mood that Dr. Wiley provided, and how the experience was facilitated and encouraged and brought along, that even though there was so much that happened, it all feels distinct. I'm trying to explain a profound concept with words that just don't seem adequate because of how it was expansive. And here's the thing: at one point I was talking about wanting the love that I feel like everyone should have. Like, love should be easy, and not easy in the sense that you don't work, but easy in the sense that it's not fearful. Okay. It doesn't feel toxic or bad. You know what I mean? Like, love raises you up, fills you up. That those emotions are energy giving as opposed to energy taking. Okay. And most of my relationships left me drained, right? So I'm looking for a relationship that is fulfilling and that feeds, not so much that I take the energy from her, as opposed to we provide energy together kind of thing, right? Um, and I remember there being like I was chanting, "Come to me," and then I heard, and then my response, like almost an echo, was, "She's already here." And I really didn't know this person, but it felt like everything is now. The person that's in my life now, I remember. That's the best way that I can say it. It's like I remember. When people ask me what's up, I tell them I remember who I am. And it's more than who I was before my injury. It's literally I feel, I hear my voice, that voice that comes out in my artwork, that voice that literally comes out in almost everything I do now.